Hello there, welcome to GTV Breakfast. I am Maltiti Saida Sadiq. We have a lot to offer you on the show. In the next 4 hours, we'll be bringing you news now, and then we'll bring you the headlines. We'll do sports. I will bring you the lifestyle segment of the show, the big interview as well. Today's Friday, so we're having the women on the show for the headlines. We're starting off with the news. We're streaming live also on our social media handles at GTV Ghana, on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can watch us there and share our feed as well. In the next half hour in the news, we're looking at IMF stories. We also do consumer protection. Then we'll do some business and take you to the international front. Let's start off with the IMF, where one of the high points of Ghana's program under the International Monetary Fund is to enhance her revenue mobilization to 18% of GDP. This is expected to bring Ghana to the level of her peers in the ECOWAS region, which is an average of 15%.
The program is quite ambitious in terms of putting the government finances on the sound footing going forward and ensuring sustainability on that front. And there are really two key components to this. One is the one that you were referring to these revenue measures. The program is ambitious on that front. The government has set for itself the objective of increasing the ratio of revenues that are raised domestically substantially over the next few years. And this is very important, of course, to contribute to the reduction in the size of the deficit. But more generally, going beyond that, it is also an important goal to bring the revenue ratio in Ghana closer to peers in the region, and this will contribute to making public finances much more resilient to shocks going forward.
The International Monetary Fund has noted that large external shocks in recent years have exacerbated Ghana's pre-existing fiscal and debt vulnerabilities. Now, in a statement after approving the $3 billion bailout for Ghana, the IMF said these external shocks have resulted in a loss of international market access, increasingly constrained domestic financing, and reliance on monetary financing of the government.
The International Monetary Fund, in a statement, said the program will help Ghana overcome immediate policy and financing challenges through its catalytic effect in mobilizing external financing from development partners and providing a framework for the successful completion of the ongoing debt restructuring. Ghana's economic program, supported by the facility, builds on the government's post-COVID-19 program for economic growth, which aims to restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, and includes wide-ranging reforms to build resilience and lay the foundation for stronger and more inclusive growth. According to the fund, Ghana's fiscal policy has been characterized by recurrent periods of overspending and past budgets that have been marked by overly optimistic forecasts despite the existence of a fiscal council. The fund stated that decreasing international reserves, cedi depreciation, rising inflation and plummeting domestic investor confidence eventually triggered an acute crisis for the country. It lauded the authorities in Ghana for taking bold steps to tackle these deep challenges, including by accelerating fiscal adjustment. It added that securing timely debt restructuring agreements with external creditors will be essential for the successful implementation of the new ECF arrangement. Ghana is expected to implement key policies under the program, which includes large and front-loaded fiscal consolidation to bring public finances back on a sustainable path, complemented by efforts to protect the vulnerable. The adjustment efforts will be supported by ambitious structural reforms in the areas of tax policy, revenue administration, and public financial management, as well as steps to address weaknesses in the energy and cocoa sectors. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, has described Ghana's International Monetary Fund program approval as a first step towards placing the economy on a path of recovery.
Now, still on the IMF, in an interview on GBC News' Market Avenue, an economist, Mr. Emmanuel Amwadakwa, explained how Ghana was able to overtake Chad, Zambia and Ethiopia in getting an approval from the IMF. According to him, this was due to some prior actions Ghana successfully undertook, especially with the successful restructuring of the country's domestic debt.
Chad, Ethiopia, Zambia. Why has Ghana overtaken them, sort of quote and unquote, to get a deal? Because of the prior actions that we have been able to do. For Chad's case, there's a huge, indebtedness to some private entities because of collateralization. For Ethiopia and Zambia, it's because of public, decision making that has been very slow. That is why they've not been able to, get what they are supposed to get from the G20 Common Framework. But for Ghana's case, we've been able to make substantial progress according to, as in the staff level agreement predicted. So it gives the IMF board, the green light to sign off Ghana's program. And so if these countries, of course, we understand that there have been challenges in terms of rolling out this G20 framework. But as the IMF board boss will say, she has always been encouraging countries at the bilateral level to speed up, action on that, so that once they speed up action on that, then the IMF board will be able to sign off on the various packages and the loan requests that have come to the IMF. And so Ghana, we've been able to do certain things right in terms of structural reforms and then debt restructuring.
Still on monetary issues, the cedi has emerged as the world's top-performing currency against the US dollar in recent months, advancing a remarkable 33% since November 2022. Now, this substantial gain positions the cedi as the leader among approximately 150 currencies, outperforming its peers in both emerging and frontier markets. Investors and market observers have attributed this impressive surge to the growing confidence in Ghana after securing a board approval from IMF for a $3 billion bailout package.
The cedi's relentless strengthening trend has continued, with the currency posting gains for a fourth consecutive day, reaching a trading level of 10 cedis 95 pesos a dollar. This sustained rally has bolstered investors' sentiments, propelling Ghana's dollar-denominated bonds to deliver a robust returns of nearly 12%. This performance outspaces the average return of 3.6% recorded by similar instruments in emerging and frontier markets, as indicated by a Bloomberg index. Analysts and economists are closely monitoring the developments surrounding the IMF bailout, projecting the positive sentiment and the potential disbursement of the first tranche of funds, and could fuel further appreciation of the cedi in the days to come. Ghana's economic landscape has garnered significant attention from the international investors, who have recognized the country's potential for the growth and stability. The prospect of an IMF bailout and the subsequent disbursement of funds further solidifies Ghana's position as an attractive destination for foreign investment. The injection of financial support from the IMF is expected to bolster the country's economy, improve fiscal stability, and pave way for sustainable growth in various sectors.
Now, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has justified the increase in the Unified Petroleum Price Fund, UPPF, and fuel marketing margins. It says the adjustment is to ensure availability of petroleum products on the market and also prevent fuel adulteration. The head of pricing at NPA, Mr. Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti, told Energy News that the authority decided to increase the margins in line with the fairly stable prices of petroleum products on the market.
Approval has been granted based on the cost analysis that were done, but they were reviewed this window because as you are aware, we expected prices to go down, so it was a better time to review it now. It should have been done in some few windows back, but at the time prices were going up, so we couldn't do them at that time. The full market margin, on the other hand, is what ensures that quality of products are intact, so it pays for that operation as well, putting chemical markets in the floor to ensure that when the products leave the depots and they are taken to the filling stations, no one is able to adulterate these products with other products to ensure that the consumers get quality products. These are the two margins that have been reviewed. Full market margin in itself, it has not been reviewed in a very long time. The last time it was reviewed was in 2021. And if you remember last year, it was further reduced because the prices were shooting up. So the margin, if you remember in 2021, you all know where the exchange rate was at the time. And today we know what the exchange rate is. So the significant depreciation of the exchange rate has also affected that. And actually that fund run into losses because we have not reviewed it in a very long time. So there was the need for us to review these margins to ensure that the appropriations for this fuel marking and the EPPF continue to go on. If not, it's going to affect the distribution of it.
Now, consumer protection advocate Mr. Kofi Kapito says he's dissatisfied with the constant increases in utility tariffs by the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC. The Commission announced an 18.36% increase across the board in electricity tariffs effective June 1, 2023. Mr. Kapito says the Commission must also be proactive in demanding quality and reliable service from the utility companies.
My feelings are not very, very good in a sense that I understand it's the mandate of the PRC to increase utilities every quarter for 4 times in a year. Their duty is not only to increase it upwards, they're supposed to increase it downwards as well. But it looks like every time we hear of the PRC, it's about utilities going up. Yes, if they've given the reason or justification why the increase should be given, whereby consumers have to accept or pay. The other side that the PRC doesn't do, which I'm not very happy with as a consumer advocate, is also holding the utilities to deliver their services to the satisfaction of the consumers who pay for it. It is the mandate of the PRC to see that utilities also supply adequate and sufficient uninterrupted utilities delivery. But is that a matter that is in Ghana now? Even water is being rationed. Okay, electricity. Now, there's a lot of challenges with consumers. Prepaid, accessing it, sometimes don't even work. The app will go down. There's a whole lot of challenge. Okay, now, we don't know whether it's power outage, whether the new term that, I don't know whether it should be called doomsaw or sawdoom.
Let's do sanitation now. Reliable and regular supply of potable water coupled with good sanitation should be prioritized if Ghana must meet the SDG Goal 6, which is water and sanitation for all, by 2030. This was raised by the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Madam Cecilia Dapaah, when she toured some communities and markets in the capital.
Over the years, following the unhealthy environments within which some market women plied their trade, in the extreme cases, the unsightly positioning of refuse containers and the indiscriminate disposal of waste at some markets discourages customers from patronizing these markets. A visit by the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapaah, to some markets to personally see the situation on the ground revealed that some markets are adhering to sanitation protocols. She was pleased with what she saw at the Medina market. The minister was, however, disappointed at what she saw at a dumping site at Ofanko.
Where is the attendant? There should be someone sitting here making sure people don't dump on the ground, but rather, Mr. Akwalache, you are here. Listen, we don't want a recurrent problem. Each area has its own jurisdiction and what happens there and what should happen there. If you are sure that they are from Taifa, you should do sensitization there to make sure they don't bring their refuse here. They should also have skips.
Some residents at Old Fadama expressed worry about the wanton disregard for good sanitary conditions in the area.
Concerning where we have been dumping our rubbish, is disturbing. So we are appealing to the government that we need support. We have access where they can be putting the containers. If they dump the boiler, then I think the car will come for it. Then I think the place will be safe. Then our health system too will be okay.
Madam Cecilia Dapaah said despite the gloomy picture of some markets and communities in relation to sanitation, she will ensure that the president's dream to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa becomes a reality.
Government in its own vision throughout the Fourth Republic has drilled down responsibilities down to the unit level. Generally, I must say I am satisfied that I don't see heaps in town, etc., etc.
Let's take you to the international front. Unfortunate news, more than 20 rivers have burst their banks in Italy, leaving 13 people dead and forcing thousands from their homes after 6 months' rainfall fell in a day and a half. More bodies were found yesterday after almost every river flooded. Some 280 landslides have taken